share it on X and Facebook and LinkedIn. People have to know this is happening. If you really want to make sure that this investigation is fair and honest at the state level, because I could certainly see how this commission might want to cover all of this up because it's a very bad look and they're probably just as woke. I know they're just as woke there as they are at the King County Jail. People need to be aware of this story and start spreading it. So please head on over to seattlered.com. I've got not just the story, but I also have the full complaint. Remember yesterday I yelled at them for not sending me the complaint even though they knew I had it?
Mm-hmm.
You know how I said I sent that nasty email?
Yep.
Yeah, I got a response early this morning before work hours. So they understood what it was I was saying. And that makes me feel good because I felt a little bad about sending the nasty email for about 5 seconds, which is a lot for me to feel bad for. But them responding the way that they did indicated I was right. Because you talk to me the way I talk to some people who screwed me over, I would just out of spite slow roll everything. But they didn't this time, and I appreciate that. Kudos to them. But this story right now is up at seattlered.com, so please check it out. Push that button.
What's trending in King County?
So a follow-up to a story that we covered yesterday. There are a whole bunch of people who are upset with the King County Council for putting a crisis care center right in the heart of a neighborhood, Capitol Hill, which has a lot of densely populated part of Capitol Hill. You've got a lot of residents and a bunch of businesses, including a brewery, which seems like you don't want a brewery a block in front of the crisis care center where a bunch of potential alcoholics and drug addicts might go.
At least it's just beer and it's not, fentanyl or meth,
But it is also fentanyl. It's just probably sold by some drug dealer outside. Again, this is Capitol Hill. So a bunch of people got together and said, we don't want this. We don't want this. One resident named Aaron spoke with King 5.
I voted for crisis care. I voted for the levy. I believe that, yes, we need to provide help for people. I don't think this money should be spent hand over fist rehabbing an old building. By no means am I saying no to crisis care center. I am saying we need to do this right. Whatever it is, I want the crisis care center to be successful wherever it is placed.
Well, the King County Council heard all the people complaining and said, no, we're going to do it anyway. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. I told you this a while ago. This was inevitable. And the reason why I'm not all that concerned with the plight of the folks in this neighborhood.
I voted for crisis care.
That's why. That's why. Because the very people who are complaining are the very people who voted for this idea in the first place. And the second that it gets put in their neighborhood, all of a sudden they're saying, oh, we don't like this. We don't like this. Can't you put it out in Federal Way? Can't you get it out in Shoreline or Kent? Come on, put it out in Kenmore. Put it out in Bellevue, all those white people who are rich. Can't you put it there? Yeah, no, sorry. You brought this on yourselves. And we said at the moment that they pitched this idea a year and a half ago, whenever it was, this is not a good idea. You do not want the county involved in this, number one. Number two, they're not going to do it the way you think it ought to be done or should be done. They're going to embrace harm reduction as a strategy, and they're definitely going to put it in places you don't want it. Now, I did not think at the time, I didn't even think at the time they put it in Seattle, but they did. And now you're going to live with it. Folks on Capitol Hill and First Hill, you are living with this. You are correct to complain about the bad location. You are correct to complain about the cost. But you don't get to complain beyond that. You know why?
I voted for crisis care.
That's why. Sorry, lady. I voted for crisis care, but I didn't think it would be in my neighborhood. Well, you should not have voted for crisis care centers.
Hoisting yourself by your own petard.
I'm just saying. Look, you all did this to yourself. Normally, I'm the first to side with the people who complain about this stuff. I remember we covered a similar story about a year ago in Linwood, where they were putting not a crisis care center, but basically the nonprofit equivalent of that. And people were like, this is not right for this neighborhood. This doesn't make any sense to put it here. In or near Kirkland, where they did this exact same thing for a homeless hotel, this doesn't make sense. Folks in Kent said, why are you putting this homeless hotel here? This doesn't make sense. I was 100% on board with them, every single one of them. Or maybe it was Redmond, not Kirkland. I can't remember. I was with them every step of the way. Not here. You want to be reminded why?
I voted for crisis care.
Exactly. And now you live with it. Push the button.